You're smiling from ear to ear because little did I know when I hired you that you're the most technologically challenged individual that I may meet.
It's not true. That is not true. Only with weird pieces of technology that you send me.
Stand by. Weird pieces of technology. Earphones,
Okay, you sent me the biggest bush.
microphone.
Hold on. Anyone watching this, I would like people to see what you sent me.
Yeah, I sent you a perfectly good microphone stand that fits on anybody's normal desk. I didn't know you had a desk that's 6 inches
2.5
thick.
inches thick. 2.5 inches thick. And it's too thick for this to mount. And this thing is gigantic.
It's brilliant.
So, fixed it. I fixed it.
I still don't think we are completely there because you shouldn't have to have echo cancellation on because you've got headphones on.
I can probably turn it off now since we figured I
think I'm going to hear myself with it.
Hold on.
You can't turn it off now. We're recording.
Oh. Okay. Well, I fixed that myself just now for you.
Yes, well done. Well done. Congratulations, Ashlee. How's everything today? Everything fine?
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, we got our DSC booth allocation today, which is quite exciting that we are boothing for the first time. Is boothing a right term? Eventing?
I don't know. Trade showing?
Trade showing? We will be in Dallas Safari Club for the first time ever that we are actually displaying something. I don't think we'll sell anything. We may have a bit of swag to sell or whatnot, but more just like, hey, here we are.
I would like to sell our very, very cool new hats.
Oh, yes, we can. Lost Patch Company. And by the way, by the end of this week, Lost Hat Company. What did I say? Lost Patch, right?
Lost Patch. Yeah.
Lost Hat.
We won't be able to sell the custom hats people can design, but we can have some that we design ourselves.
But we could, if we had a dedicated iPad set up and somebody could like build their own hat right then and there.
Oh, you know what? I think you just came up with a really great idea for our booth.
Can you sort that out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
An iPad, I have it sorted out.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think that's cool.
Tell people what's going on.
Lost Hat Company and Blood Origins are going to collab, and by the end of this week, so by the time this roundup drops, the patchery could be live. Could be.
And by patchery, you mean?
The patchery is every hat, like I've got a Juniper Mountain Coffee hat on that has a big leather patch on it, and so we're going to have 5 leather patches, 5 different designs, shapes, and you can match any one of those patches to any hat that they have in stock. So like I think there's 29 different hats.
It's a lot.
So yeah, you can make your own custom hat that nobody ever had before.
Very cool. I want to make a bunch of custom hats.
Are you paying them for them?
I mean, I hope you're going to be paying for them.
You need them for events, right? For trade showing.
I do.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's exciting times, man. I'm excited to take this next step, this next evolution, and
they're really good. Everybody go to Lost Hat and start looking, but don't buy anything until ours go live next week.
Exactly. Find out the kind of hat that you love, and then wait for us to be live.
You can also look on some of the Instagram posts that have gone on our Instagram page of Robbie and the team in Africa and Australia, and they have worn a few of the prototypes.
Exactly.
You can see a couple of them in action.
Yep, yeah, and we've got a great video that's coming with all the hat work that we did, the work that we were doing with wearing the hats. So yeah, exciting times.
Fun. So, what did we do last week?
Shit, what a week. Premiering of Lionheart in Denver. It was your first public appearance, wasn't it? Your real first public appearance for Blood Origins.
Yeah. So fun.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for what you did. Thank you so much for everything you did.
On the most giant screen
Oh my God.
It was huge,
It was
bigger
amazing.
bigger than a real movie screen in a theater. It felt that way. We
It
had a-
was huge. It was way bigger than I thought.
It was fantastic, beautiful film, amazing cinematography, um, and really, really told the story of these guys and why they lion hunt, and from the perspective of these different families in different states and the dogs. It was unbelievable. But the crowd was fantastic, huge crowd. I loved
Huge
the
crowd.
theme. Dressy
Theme was great.
people decked out, which was so much fun.
And you had a little secret that you didn't unveil until night of Lionheart.
I had never seen the film.
Yet you had it for
I had.
months.
Yes, I had I had access to it for months, and once I knew where we were going to see it, I decided I would wait. So, and I
Was it that you decided to wait, or you just forgot about watching
did not
it?
forget. 100% did not forget. Um, yeah, in the beginning, I had maybe a few technical difficulties,
Oh my God.
but and then I decided to wait. So it was a proactive decision, but it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. It was a fantastic event. Tons of partners, nonprofit organizations, outfitters, guides, hunters, families, non-hunters. So many people came together. Paramount was a really cool venue. I mean, they're still fighting for their lives out there in Colorado, and so we need everybody to dig in and help on this effort. We should get the referendum number next week.
I thought it was this week.
Well, by the time
Things being pushed a bit.
it hasn't come out yet, and we're almost
Yeah.
into this week, so
Yep.
but yeah, the ballot initiative will not be 91. It was Proposition 91, but the ballot initiative number will be a different number. So once we get that, we'll publicize it. There have been a couple. There was a lion attack on a child this week.
Oh, in California, right? 5-year-old child.
Yes, where coincidentally they banned mountain lion hunting years ago. Cannot hunt them at all out there. There have been increasing human big cat interactions.
Boy attacked by mountain lion at Malibu Creek State Park. Jeez. Family members helped fight off the animal as it tried to pull the child away, says this headline.
Mm-hmm. So what happens? They bring the department in who has to kill the animal, more taxpayer money. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still going to be killing these species. It's just the government's going to be doing it with taxpayer money.
And how sad would it be, right? These guys that, the houndsmen that are going to be ousted, right, if this ban comes in place. They are the ones that are going to get called on. There are a couple of things that are just like, man, number one, the houndsmen are going to be the ones that are being called on by Colorado Parks and Wildlife in the future to go and kill that lion. And it's going to hurt their hearts. Like, really, man, we used to do this as a pastime, as a job, as a means to pay the government. Now the government's paying us to go take this lion out.
Right. And once that happens, they don't go into human consumption stream. They don't go to families.
No, they can't use any of the. I don't think they're allowed to use any of the animal. They just have to destroy it.
Yeah, incinerate them, leave them. It's a huge waste. It's a travesty. Okay, there's going to be a way that the general public can watch Lionheart soon.
Yeah, hopefully, end the second or third week of September. We're still working out all the details, but it'll be made available publicly for everyone to consume through Facebook, YouTube. It'll be on YouTube. We'll have the links on Instagram. We'll have the links on Facebook. We'll have it on Carbon TV. We'll have it on streaming platforms. So you can watch it in your own home, snuggled in your own bed, having the beverage of choice in your hand. So everyone's going to be able to watch it and hopefully enjoy it and then share it, right? Share it like crazy, specifically in Colorado with friends and family and community.
So fun. Biggest news, biggest news is that most states are now open for hunting. a lot of states.
Yes, there's hunting happening. And I haven't hunted yet. Did you go dove hunting?
So we did not. So my husband and child having COVID and it being 98 degrees and muggy and buggy, we decided to wait a week or two. So we will be going within the next 2 weeks. But
The
we
dove season's pretty long here in Mississippi to start with, right?
we've got a split dove season, and so you've got a couple of opportunities. You've got right now it's going on, and then we've got a little bit of a later season after the split. And so, I mean, look, I don't love being out there when you're fighting the mosquitoes, potentially missing doves flying overhead because you're swatting at things biting you.
Especially where you are,
What?
the mosquitoes down in the Delta will carry you away, man.
Yeah, they're rough down here. Now, I loved seeing the pictures from everyone who did go out, and kudos to them. I think people had you have a great time whether you get your limit or not. But we have a cold front coming in tomorrow, and so
Yeah, it's gonna be 51 here on Sunday.
yeah.
Below.
Now that is going to bring the doves down.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're coming. They're coming,
Oh man.
and I will be out there for them then. So
There we go.
we
There we
closed
go.
out swimming season. We're done with the swimming pool. Mommy is not unhappy about that. And
You have a swimming pool at the house?
no, we go down the street. We go to a club around the corner.
Okay, cool.
Or neighbors. Borrow lots of neighbors.
Whilst we were in Colorado, you got to meet the initial Cody.
I did.
The Cody that you replaced on the roundup, and he gave you some advice. Do you remember what the advice he gave you?
I think it was give him hell.
He pretty much was like, Ashlee, at every opportunity, throw Robbie under the bus.
Right.
That is what your job is. That was Cody's job. It's
hard to throw you under the bus when you have always beaten me to the bus by 15 minutes. Just so everyone knows, after my first experience traveling in the same state with Robbie, we flew out there separately, but then we're out there with other people for a few days. Robbie is going to be the first one wherever he's
going to be on time.
Early.
For everything. No, there's no such thing as early.
You are early. You are waiting. You're waiting on everyone else. You are raring to go. And there is, in case people can't tell, there's a lot of intensity there.
Well, now I know, Ashlee, on time for Ashlee is 10 minutes and 58 seconds. It's not 10 minutes, 10 o'clock and 58 seconds if we need to leave at 10. But there is going to be potentially 3 or 4 minutes, waylaid beyond the designated time of departure. And I've just got to, I think what I'm going to do in the future is say, okay, 8:15 is leaving time, wherein it's actually 8:30.
I only really need a 5-minute heads up. My brain is just so literal that it will count down to the second of when I need to be down there. So then if, for instance, you aren't actually meeting me in a lobby, you're meeting me in a parking garage, then yes, I'm going to be 3 minutes late.
I could have driven the car around the front and picked you up around the front.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a fun experience. We survived.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was right. Again, Lionheart's going to be out for everyone to see. Yeah, and it's the fight of fights, man. It's now that Denver's behind us, now we need to really think about. I've had some conversations with people. There's two real main focuses here. Number one, convincing the non-hunter, the general public in that big 9-county area to say no. But there's also just as big of a push needed of everybody on the western slopes to vote.
To vote. Explain what you mean by the big 9-county and why the western slope turnout means so much.
So in the wolf reintroduction, every county in Colorado, they actually won, i.e. voted no for wolf reintroductions, except the counties that run from Colorado Springs to north of Denver, which is Fort Collins.
Okay.
And they lost those counties by like 22 points or 24 points each. And at the end of the day, we only lost the vote by 0.9%. Less than a point. which means there's just 38,000 votes. Only 38,000 votes.
Mhm.
I can guarantee you there's 38,000 outdoorsmen in Colorado that did not vote.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was just about to look up the population of Colorado.
I think it's 6 million or 8 million or something like that. I'll
So,
look it up.
speaking of the wolf reintroduction, big news going on with that. What I would now deem to be a failed, it wasn't a failed attempt. They did reintroduce them, but it just turned out to be a really, really bad idea. So,
Yeah, the Copper Creek pack, that is now the official pack because they denned and they got pups,
and
have
go back and make sure everyone knows that was a ballot initiative, not a science-led initiative by the agency or anyone else in science and wildlife management.
nope,
So,
no, completely ballot initiative.
General-
CPW was gagged ordered.
Mhm.
They weren't allowed to say anything.
As they are now. CPW's
CPW's
again.
again, correct.
I don't think it should be legal, but I don't make the rules in Colorado.
Well,
And so, okay, what's gone on? So the wolves were introduced.
yeah, the Copper Creek wolves that were released in Copper Creek have created a pack so that, well, they've had pups, so officially now they're a pack. But that entire pack, those wolves are very well known. Well, they've accounted for multiple livestock depredations. And now they've gotten to the point where the number of depredations are so high that CPW has said, we're not going to lethally take out a wolf, but we're just going to now round them all up and move them somewhere else, which is going to stop the depredations on livestock. Right? No, that's a good answer. By laughing.
It's completely ridiculous that this is being managed in this method because of the results of this ballot initiative. And so people need to understand that we're going to have similar results when we take these decisions away from these wildlife management agencies that have all of the science and all of the data and all the tools to manage the wildlife. It goes against everything we believe in with the North American model of wildlife. And that's not what we're about in America. And so while the people do have a say, they are, in some instances, especially when there is being a mass amount of misinformation disseminated, which there is by these animal rescue groups, Humane Society, PETA, they're putting out misinformation, non-factual information, and it results in undermining our entire conservation plan in America.
Yeah. It's, the way that I akin it, and that from an analogy perspective is, say someone in Colorado got so upset about the way bridges were built or whatever, right? They're like, I don't like that. I want them to be smaller. I want them to be, I don't know, make up something, right? Just like these guys are making up something. And they get on the ballot initiative and everyone goes, oh, I agree with you. Let's vote. And so the public votes for the bridges to be X or Y. And the engineers are like, no. Like, that's you can't do that. Like, that's...
It goes against engineering science.
It goes against engineering science. But the public goes, no, we know better.
Well, we don't like that design.
Exactly. And nobody would say that. It's the same thing here.
I know, it's a travesty. Okay, so we've been talking about Lionheart.
Before we move off Colorado, can I show you something super scary?
Yeah.
Did you see this? I'm going to play the video. Okay. And the audio may come through the mic, but...
Hello, Colorado.
Did you see this?
Here. You might know me as
Look at it. Who is that?
Of the United States. Others will remember me as America's
AI generated
president. It has come to my attention
AI.
that some Washington, D.C. animal welfare groups are funding an effort to end mountain lion hunting in Colorado. The people who protest against hunting and consider sportsmen the enemies of wildlife
How
are
scary is
ignorant
that?
of the
It's
fact that in
awesome.
reality,
All
the
AI,
genuine sportsman
all of it. I
Like it is his face, it's his voice.
that was scary.
Say what?
I said I generated high school photographs of myself, and it was scary how realistic they were. AI is scary.
What's scary about this video specifically is that they could do it for you or for me based on how much of my voice is out there already and make me say whatever they want me to say.
No, I know you can't believe anything anymore.
You can't believe anything. Dude, it's scary. Scary, scary, scary. Shit.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but there are so many, and it's not necessarily news, but it's news for us. There are so many really cool projects in the hopper, documentaries in the hopper.
Yes.
Can you give a little sneak peek synopsis of some of the ones coming down the pipeline, or is it too early?
What are you referring to?
Well,
Yeah, I'm trying to like pick your brain before I say something I'm not supposed to be saying.
maybe the one with the little bitty species that I love.
A little bitty species that you love that was
Waddle.
coming out of an egg and waddling down to the water.
And then maybe a couple of others that you were on 2 different continents for. Just maybe like a tiny little brief synopsis of like how.
Well, it's because, the reason you're asking this is because we haven't had you on the roundup in quite some time, right?
Right.
That you have been replaced. Not replaced in that sense, but the Slots boys were on the podcast for 2 weeks running.
Right.
And then I had the crew from Australia that was on the podcast. And so what we were doing, obviously Tanzania and Kenya was the big elephant documentary that will probably be the biggest thing, that most controversial topic we've tackled.
Oh, for sure. Huge article today about killing big Tuskers.
Yeah, so since you brought that up, an article came out today about Tuskers. R.I.P. This is the headline. This is what drives me up the fucking wall. Excuse my language. R.I.P. Africa's super tusker elephants nearly wiped out by tourists on trophy hunting holidays. That suggests that there was none, hardly any left.
I know.
No, and this is what's funny. It's like this article.
This thing and killed it like within 60.
Well, they're referencing the guys out of Ambassador Elephant Research Program, specifically Joyce Poole. You know, it's and they say in this, they're like, oh, because 5 elephants have been taken, there's less than 10 now available, right? That's what they say. There's less than 10 now in this population. But they submitted a petition to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to ban the import of these trophies, which right now you can't import trophies anyway, so it's currently banned.
Right.
FYI.
Right.
But they listed 25 elephants on that petition.
Just an example of the misinformation being disseminated.
It's just, this is obviously, give them kudos where kudos is due. They get the press out there. They get articles written. They get all of these things done. We just need to figure out how to do it ourselves.
Well, they do mention, how much the tags cost, and they say it's all about money, but what they don't fail to go on and say is that money goes right back into the ground to protect the survival of these species so that the population will continue.
Well, okay, it's all about money then. Okay, it's all about money. It's all about money. Okay.
Money linked to conservation.
I don't care where the money comes from.
No,
bring the money.
I'm talking about where the money goes. I don't care where it comes from.
No, same thing. Same as me.
Yeah.
These are big NGOs that are sitting on the other side. There's two solutions. And this is what's going to come out in the documentary. There's two solutions, and Amy Dickman from Oxford comes up with the same solution, same end goal. There's a compensation solution and a compromise solution. Compensation solution is bring $500,000 to the table every year for the next 10 years of the hunting lease and buy out the big Tusker tags. See, I heard all of that in my ears. I don't know. It should anyway. Buy out the big Tusker tags and let all that money flow back to conservation. Done. Or compromise and say, okay, we do believe that there is a class of elephant that can be hunted, that is of age, that is not an iconic, that is not an emerging iconic, and hunt that elephant with the help of us, giving you the data, giving you the information of who these emerging super tuskers are, who the iconics are. Done.
I'm with you on this one.
Yeah, and then so that was Tanzania and Kenya. So we got that big documentary. We went to the Northern Territory of Australia, which has a very unique species, banteng, which is like a cattle bovine species native to Indonesia, in which it is close to extinct, very endangered, and also endangered from a bloodline perspective because it's interbreeding with cattle in Indonesia. And so the pure genetic bloodline of banteng is not being kept. But in the Northern Territory, very, very clean bloodline of banteng, considered an invasive, feral, non-native species, which is interesting. Definitely tied to tags to hunt, but not native to Australia and not native to an Aboriginal culture up in the Northern Territory that is a very hunting-based culture. And so we wanted to ask the questions of the Aboriginals in this area, which are very much, I would say, very much sea hunters, not terrestrial hunters, because if you took the buffalo and the banteng out of the system, there'd be very little actual wildlife to hunt. There'll be some wallabies. There wouldn't be pigs traditionally. And so, yeah, we wanted to know from them, like, how do they see buffalo and banteng? Do they see them as native wildlife? Do they see them as part of their culture? And interestingly enough, they said yes, because that's what they were born with.
But if the government did not classify them as non-native, they wouldn't be allowed to hunt them, correct?
Correct. Yeah, native species cannot be hunted except by Aboriginals. Aboriginals can hunt native species.
They could. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so
you just said they were sea hunters?
Very much sea hunters, yeah.
Sea hunting. What is sea hunting?
They hunt. They don't go underwater. They do not spear fish. They pretty much will spear fish in shallow estuaries. They'll spear fish shallow flats. They'll definitely go out on a boat and spear sea turtles from the boat. And they also harpoon and spear dugongs, which is essentially the Australian version of a manatee.
So because it's a spear, you call it hunting? Just curious.
Because it's a spear. Because it's a spear, and it's not, and it's very selective.
Oh,
I call it hunting.
Selective comes into it now, huh?
Yeah, we talked about this. And this is.
We just don't agree on this. I still think it's fishing. If you are harvesting fish from the water, you're fishing, no matter your weapon of choice, whether it's a hook, spear. So you're saying if they stuck their head underwater, then would you consider it fishing?
No, I think spear fishing underwater is underwater hunting.
Oh, okay.
Because of the selectivity of it. We talked about this in Colorado, and I think selectivity is the key here. Fishing has this connotation of like this net effect. You have this.
Okay.
Yes.
Ask a fly fisher if he is not being selective in what he is fishing.
He has no choice.
He does.
No. very few fly fishermen can actually select the fish that they're targeting. Very, very few. The vast majority of fishing, I would say 99.9% of fishing, is casting a lure and hoping a fish hits the lure.
Well,
Would you agree or not agree?
but you basically, the selectivity comes from being able to see it. It's just
Correct.
what you can see versus not seeing. But if you're
Correct.
for water,
Correct.
you can see it. I mean, so that's just your visibility. That's a visibility factor that you're all targeting. I mean, most people don't just go say, oh, this guy here, and I mean, maybe I would say most serious anglers do not just go out and say, oh, I don't care what I catch today. Doesn't matter. Anything.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Sort of it is. It is sort of.
No.
Let's
I think the
to fish or sea hunt, as you call it. You're saying because they select these certain species and that's what they can see, you're calling it hunting.
I am tying it not to the motivation of the individual, but the selectivity of the action, the mode of action.
I don't even know what that means.
What it means is very simple. When you have a spear in your hand, you are selecting a specific, that mode of action is selecting a specific fish. You're not just hoping and praying. When you fish with a lure, you're throwing it out there. You're not selecting a specific fish that you're going after. You're just hoping and praying something bites the lure, and you don't know if it's a 16-pound bass or a half-kilo bass or half-a-pound bass.
Some very, very experienced anglers would argue with you. Also, with a small net fishing, you're scooping up a particular fish underwater, or if you're hand grabbing underwater. What's that?
You're not selecting. You're hand grabbing whatever's in that box.
You can see it. You can see it if you certain things.
How many times have you hand grabbed catfish and been able to see the catfish?
Well, actually, a lot, but that was in a very particular situation, not in the water.
This will be an ongoing debate.
It's just because you are so you want everything to be hunting. You want it to be fishing.
Fishing's fishing.
We're gonna I think we may persuade you on this one.
Maybe.
We're going to have to get some anglers on the podcast to talk it out down the road.
I think we should do that. We should have some high-level anglers. Let's get Kevin Van Dam on the podcast and go, Kevin, when you bass fish, are you selecting a specific fish or just hauling your lure back and hoping a fish bites it?
I'd like to have a marlin angler.
Katie, we can get Katie on board. Absolutely.
What about bone fishing?
Bone fishing is...
They're highly selective. You can usually...
I don't think so.
Well, you can see them.
Yeah, but you're not selecting. Again, if you see a bonefish, you see 8 bonefish.
That bonefish out of those, 15, but you're selecting that species.
What did you just say? I think you just proved my point.
No, I didn't. We're going to have to agree to disagree on this one. Anyway, we got off track. Have you talked about the little tiny species that I like to crawl out of a hat?
Oh, I have not. And I was trying to find the video for it because I can show a little bit of it. But yes, we have finished wrapping a very cool project in the state of Georgia. And if everyone's watching on YouTube, I'm showing the video of the baby sea turtle going down the sand beach.
Cute. I love all.
And yeah, it's going to be a great documentary out of Georgia. The crew at Nomad Collective filmed it for us. It's incredible footage. That's all you get.
Okay, can you tell them how it's tied to hunting?
Yeah, it's a really cool story in that obviously, when you dig into the science of sea turtles, the population dynamic modeling of sea turtles states that the juvenile female or adult female is the life history stage that you want to protect, and they do that through TEDs in shrimp trawlers and whatnot. But there's also a need to protect nests. That even though the population modeling says otherwise, why do we protect nests then? Like, why do we put enclosures over nests? Why do we stop people driving on beaches to save nests? Why do we have all these volunteer efforts to locate nests and track them and whatnot? If nests weren't important, to protecting nests weren't important, we wouldn't do any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So if the federal government, Fish and Wildlife Service, says, oh, we're going to pay for a federal contractor to be on an island to take out invasive nest predators like pigs and raccoons to save nests, there must be a reason that would aid sea turtles. That percent could be 10%, 20%, 30% maybe. I'm gonna take that 20 and 30% and call that a victory from a hunting perspective, which is that hunting of raccoons, hunting of pigs, and this happens in the northern Cape York in Queensland. We want to do the same documentary up there, in which you have one lone boar pig who literally can destroy half a mile of beach and take out every single nest on that beach because it's a learned behavior. And so, yeah, it's a story, a documentary of. Honestly, it's a documentary of change, and the documentary is called Tides of Change, and it's a documentary about the owners of the island. The lady lived to 109 years old, Mrs. West.
That is crazy.
An old, curmudgeonly Southern woman who hated hunting, loved wildlife, but changed her ways to say, yes, you need to manage. It's a change in the island, a change in when someone came in to do this nest predation work, a change in nest depredations from just under 40% to less than 7% 2 decades ago. And now they're having record nest successes on the beach, or record numbers of nests on the beach in Ossabaw. And then a change in the talent, really. It would have, it could have been me. I didn't want to be in. I did want to be involved in the project. Don't get me wrong. We just have a lot of things going on, and I felt like we needed a new face, and so we hired Katie to be the face. And she is a hunter, but came to hunting, a little differently. And her change, like, did she actually believe that this was something that could happen? And her understanding of it more. So yeah,
that's very cool. Hear the grunting and snorting that just got let into my room, but they probably should be introduced to Winston at some point.
Are you going to pick him up? Is he? I thought he's a huge bulldog. Oh my gosh. Jeez, look at that thing.
Grunting, snorting, giant bulldog named Winston.
Does he like to cuddle?
He does like to cuddle. But he likes to play because he's still a baby. He's only 9 months old, and
oh my gosh,
lots of wrinkles.
Lots of wrinkles,
all the things. So anyway, Winston, say hi. That's what the snorting you hear and the snoring you hear in the background is. So Cody, sorry, he got let in. He busted up in on the podcast. He already is huge.
You got to go, right?
Yeah, you wanna? Is there anything else we need to cover?
I just wanted to say a big shout out to some of our new Conservation Club members. If you want to be a Conservation Club member, it's an opportunity to support what we do on a daily basis. You see it every day. It's a company mechanism. Glacier Guides Inc. out of Alaska, Mutz Decker and Zach Decker came on board on a Conservation Club, which is amazing. Super, super, super grateful for them. And then we've got another brand new Conservation Club member, which is the San Angelo SCI chapter. And just big grateful to them and big thanks to them. And then also just a big thanks to all of the supporters and donors for our silent auction in Colorado last week.
Yes, we had a great silent auction. So
Great silent auction.
bear hunt, float trip, awesome gun, like really.
Yeah, amazing gun from Q. Thank you, Q. Thank you, Kevin Brittingham. Thank you to all the hunt sponsors, Larry Miller. There was a great bear hunt. Ruckless gave a great Yeti box. Just thank you to everyone. Parker Custom Cowboy Hats.
Davis Tent.
Thank you.
Big sponsor.
Who was that?
Davis Tent.
Davis Tent. Yes, thank you. Will Marquardt. So yeah, all right, we'll let you go.
Talk about the coffee. You're wearing the hat.
Oh, Juniper Coffee. They'll be in our supporters program. Not yet a Conservation Club member. We'll get onto them.
Well,
Somebody get onto them.
I had it this week. So good. I'll be drinking.
You like it?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really good.
Nice, nice. I have tried it a couple of times. I do like it too.
And I like their motto. So
what's the motto?
The motto is about adventuring and getting outside, and it's got a. I'm gonna have to go look closer, but it's either an elk or a whitetail on there. Probably an elk.
Probably an elk.
Where they're located, but yeah, it's a really cool design. Cool design, cool motto. I like the company.
Epic. Thanks, Juniper. Thanks, Ashlee.
All right.
Till next week.